Hi, everybody. It's Pastor Aaron again. This is my Mid Week Musings video. I often don't know what I'm going to do until I get to doing it. Just going with the flow, trying to make sense of a time that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I've known a lot of people that are really challenged by difficult circumstances in life. I've known some people who almost completely fall apart spiritually because they just can't seem to understand why hardships might be happening to them. I've also known others who, from the flip side of the coin, kind of pretend like nothing's actually happening when difficult stuff is going on. They talk as if we're supposed to be somehow immune to trials or pain just because we know Jesus. But that's not what we see in the Bible. Instead, we see things like Psalm 23, which talks about, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because you are with me. That's a powerful truth that God is with us through every circumstance, including this one. I remember when I was a kid, I was afraid of our basement. I had a reoccurring nightmare about the basement of our house, and for years it terrified me. That didn't stop my parents, however, from making me go down there to get stuff from the cold storage room on occasion. And it was actually a huge deal for me. I was almost paralyzed by the fear of going down there. Sometimes I cried about it. But one day, something changed. You see, my little brother, Stefan, said that he'd go with me if I wanted him to. Now, I was still a little kid, and Stefan was 3 years younger than me. If we were going to get eaten by monsters, having him with me wasn't going to stop that. We'd just both wind up being some spooky thing's supper. But strangely enough, having him go with me changed the experience entirely. I wasn't half as afraid as I'd been before. And after several journeys together, I wasn't afraid at all, really. In fact, just a couple of years down the road, I found that I wasn't afraid of basements at all anymore. That's the power of having someone walk with you. If that's what can happen when little kids go with each other on a journey, just imagine the power of having God always walking with you, because it changes everything. All through the scriptures, we are called to remember that God is with us in our circumstances, and not just some circumstances. He's with us always. And we should be greatly encouraged by that. In Matthew 28, Jesus himself said, "And see that I am with you always to the very end of the age." In fact, if you really want to dig in, all through the Bible, in both the Old and New Testament, we see God telling us over and over and over again that he will never leave us nor forsake us. We've got to remember that our Heavenly Father knows what he's doing. He is still on the throne. He's still in charge. And he still has a plan for you, no matter what's happening. But that doesn't mean that we should ever dismiss our hardship or avoid thinking about what he might want to accomplish through our circumstances. In 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7 to 10, the Apostle Paul writes this. He says, "I have received such wonderful revelations from God. So, to keep me from being proud, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger from Satan to torment me and keep me from being proud. 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away, and each time he said, 'My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness.' So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ can work through me. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults, hardships, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong." You don't have to have it all together. You don't even have to feel good about the things that don't feel good. But you should be looking to him for the answers to your questions. You should be comforted because you are not alone. If you lean on him, you will find a strength there that isn't limited by what you are capable of, because it's a strength that only he is capable of. And I, for one, am forever changed by that strength that comes from him. So if I could encourage you to do one thing today, it is to stop only seeing your circumstances and to look around you for where God is at work in your life, because he is there and he is at work. Trust him. Let him show you what he can do in the midst of this storm. Blessings on you all. I look forward to seeing you all next week.